Hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name's Phoebe. I wanted to make a trend prediction video. These are super popular, so I wanted to challenge myself to make all of my trend predictions ones that you probably haven't heard before. They're very niche, they're very specific, but I'm confident in them nonetheless. I made a video like this back about 6 months ago before like the fall winter season, and half of mine were like dead on. I was very proud of myself and I was pissed because that video tanked, but I kind of hit the nail on the head. Some of them I was totally wrong, but for those ones, I'm still confident that they'll come into trend. So I have a couple repeats from last time, and I have a feeling most of them are going to be controversial. So let's get into it. My first prediction, starting out with a bang, is full coverage cotton underwear. I said this in my last trend prediction video, and I'm keeping it in this one because I have full faith that I'm right. And to an extent, I kind of already was right. We have a lot of big brands like Cuckoo Intimates making these really darling pointel full coverage high-waisted cotton underwear. I think they're already kind of back in trend for like modeling, photo shoots, Instagram girls, that kind of thing. But my prediction is specifically that people are going to embrace them for everyday wear. I feel like it has been literally 10 years of at least my generation wearing G-strings every single day to avoid underwear lines. And to that I say, I have fallen victim to it. I do it as well, but they're not healthy for you to wear every day and they're not comfortable. And I think that as a collective, we're starting to value comfort and I guess health. I don't know. We're starting to value those kinds of things more so than like looking completely perfect with no underwear lines. I don't think it's really that deep. That's my just like analyzation brain turning on, like trying to figure out why I'm predicting this as a trend. But I just think we're ready for it collectively. I think we're ready to go back to comfortable, full coverage cotton underwear every day. And I think we're just going to care less about underwear lines. I think we're over perfection. We're more into like comfy vibes. I don't necessarily think that underwear lines are going to be trendy. Like, I don't think that that is the purpose. I don't think that like seeing your underwear lines is going to be like considered aesthetically pleasing. But I just think the effortless look is kind of cool girl vibes. Like if I saw a cool girl in a cool outfit rocking her underwear lines, not giving a shit, I would be like, that is a cool person. She doesn't care. My next one is unibrows. I've probably lost half of you by now, starting out with underwear and unibrows. But I think this is kind of just a natural progression. I think that underarm hair, leg hair, not shaving for women has become kind of trendy in like a niche way to a niche group. I don't think it's for everyone. Like everyone has their own preferences, but I think embracing natural beauty and natural body hair is like something we've gotten way more comfortable with. And I think facially, like embracing your facial hair is a little bit more bold and like risky, I guess, than keeping your leg hair and underarm hair. But I think that's been kind of like priming us and warming us up to the idea. And not only do I think that unibrows are great because they just like embrace what naturally happens, I think they're chic. I think they're cool girl. I think they're editorial because they're super unique. It's kind of the same vibes as like gaps in your teeth. That's such an editorial look, but it's considered an imperfection. I think the same will be said about unibrows. I think it channels Frida Kahlo. It's fun. It's again not worrying about beauty standards. It's a for the girls trend, which is what I love about it. The men are not going to appreciate it. The men are not going to understand, but the girls will. It's kind of like bleaching your eyebrows. That is a for the girls trend. Men are not understanding why you're doing that. Men are not thinking it's cute, but we're not caring. And that's what I love about it. My next one is a Victorian Mary Jane heel. I'm realizing that most of these things I've predicted, I've kind of like predicted them subconsciously, like I just see them coming. But when I'm analyzing why that is, they all kind of fall under the same umbrella of like a progression of a trend that we've just seen. So either it's something that we haven't seen in a really long time and it's just like it's bound to be its time soon. Trends come in cycles, obviously. No trend is new. So if there's something that you can think of that we haven't seen in like 15 years, it's like it's bound to come back. You know what I mean? It's almost a perfect cycle. It is bound to come back, especially if you've just seen a trend that's a little bit similar or a little bit of like a toned down version. That's why I'm predicting these Victorian shoes to come back, because Mary Janes have been trendy recently. Kitten heels have been trendy recently. Those are two huge shoe trends that like dominated everyone everyone has been wearing kitten heels and Mary Janes. And these Victorian heels are kind of a mesh of both of them, and we haven't seen them in ages. I have seen Rachel Green wear them on Friends, so I guess 90s, early 2000s, I've seen them in mainstream culture. I've not seen them since then, especially out in like the actual public. I don't know if they're necessarily a spring shoe. I think they're a shoe that can be styled like any time of year, so maybe if they don't come in the spring, I can still hold out hope that they'll come this fall or something. But it just makes sense to me. It's a mesh of trends that have been, and we've not seen them in a while. And you know, if Rachel Green wears something, it's bound to come into trend. It's never going to be like out of the realm of possibility if Jennifer Aniston has worn them on Friends before. That was like the fashion icon of the 90s and 2000s. So I just think it makes sense. My next prediction is chunky jewelry, specifically chunky bangles worn above the elbow. This is why. This, I'm kind of going with the opposite theory that I've already talked about, which is like a progression from a past trend. I also think sometimes what we tend to do is bounce the complete opposite way. So like chunky shoes were huge before, and now we're seeing sambas. Like we're seeing way more low profile sneakers when before everyone was wearing like chunky ass Air Force Ones and stuff. Sometimes we beat bop all the way like across the pendulum. Did that make any sense? Probably not. And so this is my theory. For the past few years, super dainty jewelry has been so trendy. And I know dainty jewelry is never going to go out of style. I'm not saying it's going to go into or out of style, but in terms of trends are like huge things that you just cannot ignore. And everyone has been talking about layering dainty jewelry for so long, like the past 3 years. I think that trend has come and gone. It's, again, like I said, it's not going to go out of style. It's not like I think it's going to be uncool to wear dainty jewelry. It's so like low profile. It's never going to go out of style. But in terms of trends, I think chunky jewelry is going to come back, specifically silver chunky jewelry. Again, it's kind of the opposite of what's been. Gold dainty jewelry has been, and I think silver chunky jewelry is coming back. And I saw a girl recently wearing a really chunky bangle right above her elbow. I thought it looked so cool. And I haven't really seen that trend in a while. I could be wrong, but I haven't really seen that in like mainstream fashion in a while, is jewelry above the elbow. When I think of it, I picture like those old costumes where you would like wrap a silver or like gold snake around your elbow. It's like an old Egyptian costume that's probably not culturally appropriate anymore. But I'm picturing like those thick, kind of sculptural looking bangles, not like a textured bangle, but like either it's shaped like a square or it's kind of wiggly, like a sculptural silver bangle worn above the elbow. I know that's so specific, but I think they look really pretty, and I think that that could be a thing because, again, it makes kind of a statement and we haven't seen it in a while. My next prediction is another beauty prediction, and that is perms. This is the other one that I said in my last trend prediction video, and I was wrong. It didn't come into mainstream beauty, but I just think it will. I still hold out hope that it will, and the reason I'm even more confident this season saying that is because we've been hearing that clean girl beauty is out. The clean girl makeup and hair is not on trend anymore, and we're going back to the messy hair and the like messy smoky makeup and stuff. Again, it's one of those things that like a slicked back bun and clean makeup isn't gonna go out of style. You're not gonna see someone with like clean makeup and think they don't look cool. Like it's always gonna be in style and it's always gonna be pretty. But in terms of trends and like fads, I think perms really align with that more like undone, messy, not clean girl vibe that we have been predicting. And again, I also just think it's time to come back. It's been so long since perms have been mainstream, like a really long time. I'm sure people have gotten them in between now and then. I've gotten one before. I loved it. I will be getting another one immediately when my hair gets long enough that I think it'll look good. And I think it's nostalgic. It's time. It's so beautiful. It looks effortless. It's not too polished, but it's not like offensively messy. It's just pretty. That's all. I can't say any more about it. I have nothing else to say. I think it's pretty. Also, like, we've been seeing the curly hair routine for the past few years. Like, people are really embracing their natural curls. It's kind of like the freckles thing. Like, people used to hate freckles, and now people are getting tattooed freckles. I think it's the same thing with hair. Like, people used to hate curly hair. They would get those like keratin treatments to straighten their hair. And now people are really embracing the curly hair. So I think now people are going to want to copy it. Okay, my next one is a whole aesthetic prediction, and that is gaudy Western or gaudy Western mom, like a trashy Western mom aesthetic. And this is another one that kind of follows that pattern of like a progression or an evolution of a past trend. Coastal cowgirl was like the trend of last year, and I think it was kind of priming us and warming us up to the idea of a true Western look. And by true Western, I mean like 90s, early 2000s, low-waisted jeans, which are already on trend, with a big belt buckle, like a ribbed wife beater type tank top, silver chunky jewelry, kind of a combination of some of the things I've already talked about and things that are already trendy, like low-waisted jeans. That's what gives me hope that this can be a trend, is that people are already embracing low-waisted jeans, already embracing cowgirl boots from the coastal cowgirl era. I'm predicting the silver chunky jewelry, and I've also already seen big belts. I haven't really seen like the big Western ones with Western like belt buckles, but I've seen these really pretty thick belts from Paloma wool. I've been seeing them everywhere. So I just think people are kind of gonna revisit that classic Western style, maybe in a bit of a newer way. Like I could picture the low-waisted jeans, instead of it being like low-waisted tight skinny jeans tucked into a boot with a tight tank top and like hot pink bra. Like I'm not thinking that, but I'm thinking notes of that in a new way. I'm thinking like the low-waisted looser dark denim that we're already seeing. One of those thick belts that Paloma wool has been making, that other brands have been kind of emulating, not overtly Western, but a thick belt, which we haven't seen in a while. Maybe a different type of tank top, maybe a wife beater, I don't know. Maybe a cami, maybe a more trendy elevated basic, maybe a halter, and silver chunky jewelry. That's what I'm envisioning. Some of these predictions might just be things that I'm trying to manifest into the world because I love that look. I've always loved the Western aesthetic. I grew up going to a ranch in the summer, and that is where I thrived. I have loved like fashion and getting dressed since I was little, and that was the best, was getting to put on jeans and cowgirl boots and a tank top and a cowgirl hat and ride horses and show off my outfits in the lodge. I loved it. And like Ralph Lauren has already kind of come back. I mean, I don't know if Ralph Lauren was ever out of style, but like people have been eating that up. And that's very Western leaning, at least his like Western designs, not as much as like preppy polo stuff. But I think just all of the parts are there. All of the components are already coming into trend. So I think that aesthetic has a lot of promise. My next one is gauchos. This is the one trend that I think you could have heard of by now. I think a couple people are predicting it. And I think that's because, again, it's a really natural progression from a trend that we've been seeing, which is capris. It is a capri in itself. We've been seeing like more fitted capri trousers, even capri like yoga pants I've been seeing, like more casual versions. And gauchos have not had their time in a long time. I used to be obsessed with gauchos when I was young, like 10 years old. And I think a lot of girls my age probably had the same gaucho phase in elementary school or middle school. They're so fun. They're so ugly, but they're another for the girls trend. I love an ugly trend. I think it's so fun to not really care and just to like play with things that aren't super flattering. I do actually think capris are really flattering. I know some people say they make your legs look shorter. They probably do. But if you wear them with heels, I think they look really pretty. Gauchos are like the most extreme you can get in terms of unflattering pants, and I love it. And I feel like they're kind of nostalgic because we all wore them as a kid. I feel like the way the trend cycle works is you wear something to death, and then you kind of get sick of it, you don't wear it again, and then enough time passes where you look back on it and you go, what the hell were we wearing? That's so ugly. And then when you just let more time pass and more time pass, eventually you look back on it with fond memories and you come around to the idea of missing it and you get nostalgic about it. And I think it's just fun to reminisce and pick something we wore to death and style it in a completely different way. Obviously, we're not going to style gauchos the way we did in middle school. So I think it's kind of a fun challenge that people like to bring something back in a way that's new. We're going to style gauchos with the other things that are trending this year. I think people will be wearing them with sambas, and like I think people will be kind of juxtaposing them with like a fancier top, if that makes sense. I think everyone loves playing with like imbalance and outfits that just don't make sense. We've kind of seen it with the like Adidas track pants trend, wearing Adidas track pants with like a nicer, more feminine top, people are eating that up. And I could see it going the exact same way with gauchos. I could see people wearing gauchos with platform clogs. I could see people wearing them with sambas. I can see people wearing them with like a super oversized long sweater over top in the cooler months of spring. But then I can see people wearing them with like a really feminine boat neck top or like off the shoulder top with boots, perhaps. Like, I've been liking the look of riding boots under capris so that they're all kind of like exposed, but you still don't really see the gap between the pants and the boot. I could see people that styling them that way. I could also see people styling them if you've got like a low-waisted pair of gauchos with one of those big belts. I think that could look really cool. I've got so many ideas with how you could style gauchos. And like I said, I think we're in a very for the girls era in fashion. We're not caring about looking flattering or wearing an outfit that makes total sense. I think it's just fun to play. My next one might be the worst of all. And this isn't one that I want to happen, but I just need to put it out there in case I'm right. And it's side ponies. I cannot picture how people would wear them today. I can't picture people making them flattering, but side parts are coming back. And we all thought that was the ugliest shit ever a couple years ago. And now I think it's really chic. There has to be a way that they're going to come back. They were huge in middle school. If gauchos can come back, side ponies can come back. And if you have any ideas on how people could style that to make it look good, let me know. I have not really mulled this one over because I just think it's so ugly. But again, if gauchos can make a comeback, then side ponies can make a comeback. If side parts can make a comeback, side ponies can make a comeback. There has to be a way. Honorable mention is a French bob, and I know that that sounds like not a trend at all because that's just a type of haircut that people have always had, but there's a specific type of French bob that I have been seeing and loving the look of, and it's like a really low profile French bob on girls that have kind of thinner hair or like not as much hair. I feel like when I've always pictured French bobs, I've pictured like really thick hair and really thick bangs with like red lipstick, like a true French girl French bob. And maybe I'm just biased because a couple of my friends have gotten this haircut recently and I think it looks so darling. But I just love the look of, if you're gonna get a bob, get a bob. Cut it shorter than your chin. It's so freaking cute. It's like kind of 20s vibes. And I think it's really flattering with every outfit. It like shows off your décolletage so nicely and your neck so nicely. I think it's so flattering on the body. And I think it's really flattering because it doesn't like interact with any of your outfit. I love the way hair looks when it's just hovering. It's not like literally exactly my length now I'm getting annoyed with because it just touches your shoulders and it like makes me feel claustrophobic and I feel like my outfits look weird with it. I'm like waiting for it to get in the long phase so that I can get my perm. But it is so tempting to me to just chop it back to above the chin length because some of my friends look so good with it. Yeah, I just always pictured a French bob to be like thick hair, kind of like Dora. But I'm just loving these like really I don't know if low profile is the word I'm looking for. I guess just like a really understated haircut. It just looks so feminine and delicate and darling. And I love it. So I don't know if that counts as a trend because it's just like a really basic haircut. But I don't know. I feel like we'll be seeing it more than most years. I guess I'll put it that way. Yeah, I know this was a really random specific list of trend predictions, but like I said, I didn't want to just pick up on trends that are already starting to come into trend. I didn't want to just like regurgitate what is already out there. I wanted to really challenge myself to think of things that people aren't talking about yet, but things that I think do actually have a good chance of coming into trend. Yeah, let me know what you think of this video. Also, I forgot to mention that the reason I'm using this obnoxious microphone is because I broke my camera lens. So I'm filming on my iPhone, but I needed a good microphone. So I'm using my podcasting microphone. But hopefully I will get my camera fixed soon. Yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think of these trends, if you agree with any of them, or if you've seen any of them, or if you hate the idea of some of them. I know I do, but I also love the idea of some of them. So yeah, I don't know if it's my own bias kind of influencing me to make these predictions, but I think it's just fun. It's like fun to predict trends solely based on just like what you're feeling rather than like trying to really analyze analyze like fashion week and designers and shows and stuff. So yeah, I had fun making this video. Let me know if you have any more to add to the list. And if you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.